morning, subscribers, and those who take the time to watch this. Thank you. I wanted to do a video today on a topic about INFJs that isn't discussed too much. I couldn't really find much about it, so this is, as usual, going to mostly be my own thoughts. And that is why INFJs struggle to ask for help. And it's not just pride, although pride's a part of it. So introverted intuition, our dominant function, can create tunnel vision, meaning that we overthink of the steps to get to whatever our goal is, the path we have to take, and we become so tunnel visioned and locked onto that path that we just ignore any other possibilities that could in fact get us to that end result. Another big one, and I've done a video on it, is INFJs, feeler types in general, NFs, other intuitive types. We're so focused on helping others that we ignore our own needs, or sometimes, and I've done this, we'll see ourselves as broken and beyond repair. So instead of trying to help our own situation, we'll help others in bad situations, to try to validate ourselves, give us some sense of purpose, make us feel as if we have some purpose in the world and we're not just some parasite waiting to die. Our confidence, especially when we're younger, isn't great. So, and because we're so hard on ourselves, because we're such perfectionists, a lot of times we may feel like we don't deserve help. Like in an INFJ's mind, in our own mind, and be honest here, we're never good enough. No matter what you do, even if you reach goals you set, you just set a higher goal. We're happy but never really satisfied. So if you're wronged in some way or something happens to you, a lot of times we'll blame ourselves, sometimes intuitively, because of our intuition, for not seeing it coming. We'll rack our brains forever thinking about what you could have done differently, what different possibilities should have happened, who you should have spoken to, who you should have spoken up to. All thousands and thousands of possibilities go around in your mind like that. And another big one for us is INFJs don't want to be a burden. We're introverts, we're loners to an extent, we're very independent people. We don't want to burden somebody with helping us. We would feel that is better spent, that other person's time, instead of helping us, is better spent helping somebody else out instead of us. We always feel as if somebody else has it worse than us. There's always somebody more deserving of help than us. Pride comes into play here. We like to think we can always think our own problems, that lone wolf mentality that we're prone to. Impossibilities don't really exist for us. We tend to think the impossible just simply takes longer, so we'll convince ourselves of that. And of course, we'll think that if we just think of the problem long enough, get into that unhealthy NITI loop, that, magically we'll just have that eureka moment and it'll all fall into place and we'll all just figure it out on our own. So that's another factor. Again, circling back to the perfectionist tendencies, if you didn't do it right the first time, you deserve to fail. If we don't hold ourselves up to that impossible standard that we expect from ourselves, we feel all is lost, and what's the point in doing it? And those are more of like the clinical reasons of why an INFJ would struggle to ask for help, but there's also personal experiences, and I want to give some of mine. Another big one that probably is in the realm of both, so I'll start with that, is trust issues. As INFJs, our intuition, we see basically two personas in a person, the mask they wear and who they really are. And in doing so, that keeps us from opening up to too many people. Like, we'll spot a bullshitter, we'll spot a faker and who struts around like a big shot and all that. We won't even bother talking to that person because we know they're full of shit. perhaps in our younger days, someone like that would fool us. I think we've all, had that situation in our life where somebody we knew or somebody we knew through somebody acted as like this big shot who can call in favors and get things done and is connected and knows all these people. And you're hesitant at first, but if you're in a bad enough situation, you eventually listen to this person and, accept their offer to help because they can fix your situation with a few mere phone calls because they're, a 32nd degree Freemason or worked at the Department of Defense in the Pentagon for 35 years. And yes, I'm referencing a real person who actually is these things and was very close to my father. But, when it comes time to you actually putting yourself out there and asking this person for help, there's nothing they can do for you, not even provide an email address of someone who might be able to help your situation. And it's funny because I've noticed in these situations that those that actually have the ability, like these connections, big shots, and all that, they're not going to help the person that was screwed over. They're not going to help the ex-firefighter with PTSD who lost his job after facing months of bullying and hazing and then faced retaliation for reporting it. They're going to help, like, for example, another real life example, the 25-year-old punk who's already been arrested for being a drug dealer and is still dealing drugs because he thinks he's fucking Henry Hill from Goodfellas. That would be my brother. Just because said punk kid was, Mr. Basketball in high school, because this is in Chester County and everything relates back to what you're in high school because it's like a cult, but that's a separate factor. But in these situations that, I would say most of us experience, that makes us trust people even less. And it's not just the bullshitters, it's the ones that say that they know how to help you, but really all they're giving you is empty platitudes or at best advice that's decades out of date. I get this a lot from boomers who fell into a good job right out of college because their boss was friends with mommy and daddy or they were related to him, like all you got to do is this. It's like, well, first off, it's not 1979. Half of these jobs haven't existed since the 90s, so that's gone. And yes, technology's changed and that's the way things are done now. Like when I lost my firefighter job, for example, many boomers told me, oh, you know what you got to do is you just got to show up places. Now, mind you, this is 2020. This is during COVID. Like, and even then, with that going on, they couldn't grasp just how out of touch they are. Like the thought that things have changed in the past 35 years is just so offensive to them that they can't accept that reality at all. And you'll find, with asking for help, that a lot of times people, yeah, they'll just give you, empty platitudes, like something that hung on a corporate poster in the 1980s, and that's not really any help. So after experiencing these situations and the aforementioned reasons, before I gave specific examples, would lead specifically an INFJ to think, well, I'm all on my own anyway. Like, the only way for me to fix this situation is by the strength of my own will. And as INFJs, we're big believers in meritocracy. We abhor double standards. We abhor, what's commonly known as good old boys clubs or old boys clubs, and believe people should be judged on their own merit, not based on who they know, who they're related to, who they're friends with, and all that. And we truly believe that. And a lot of us were lied to growing up, specifically by our boomer parents, that in fact is a reality in how the world works. And to a small degree, I suppose it is, but by and large, it's not. So that can very much frustrate an INFJ into asking for help if, for example, if you say, well, to get this job, I have to do all this, and you do all those things, and you excel in the grade-wise, and you pick up a couple extra certifications just for good measure to set yourself apart, and then you don't even get a shot, and it's like, well, what the fuck? Like, I did everything you told me to do and more, and not only did I not get what I wanted, what I was told I was earning, I didn't even get a fair shot. It's like, why should I even listen to you? Why should I believe anything that comes out of your mouth? You don't, you have no intention of providing any real help. You just want to act like you know how things work when either A, you never did, or B, you don't want to admit that you're decades out of touch. And those are just some reasons why INFJs struggle to ask for help. We can do it when it's someone who's genuine, who we actually know and trust. Those people are few and far between. I understand there are some, genuine, empathic, good people that want to help people, including INFJs, and an INFJ would be hesitant to, accept that help. And I wanted to give an explanation as to why that is. Please comment below if you experience similar situations to this, or if you have any questions on the information I provided. Comment if you like, if you want to suggest topics that you want me to look into. Please like and subscribe to help the channel grow and have these videos potentially help more people, which gives me a purpose, and that's always good. It's not the easiest to get up these days because things aren't great. Thank you all for taking the time. Remember, you can do it on your own. You can ask for help. It's your call. Just remember along the way, trust your intuition on the person, and don't sell out your integrity if you're accepting help from someone. If things are too good to be true and you think there's a catch, there probably is.